Hello, my name is Technical.Nelson and this is my technical speech. There are approximately 7 different renewable energy sources, and solar panels are the most common. If I were to ask you today if you knew the structure or function of the solar panel, I'm sure most of you have only heard the basics and even just the name. The definition of a solar panel is best explained by Oxford Dictionary. It states, "A panel designed to absorb the sun's rays as a source of energy for generating electricity or heating." End quote. Solar panels have different layers in its structure to keep that function of the solar panel for getting solar energy to create electricity. Now let's begin with the structure of the solar panel. At this time in my presentation, I would be showing my first slide of my PowerPoint, and that would be the layers of the solar panel and their names. I got most of my information about these layers from renewable energy concepts. There are approximately 6 different layers in the solar panel, each giving its function to create the function of the solar panel. The first layer is the faceplate, or better known as the protective glass. It is approximately 4 millimeters thick. It is protection against environmental factors, for example, pressure, temperature, and it's shockproof. And its main function is to protect the solar panel from environmental factors. The second layer is the upper encapsulating film. Now this layer is surrounding the solar cell, and it protects it from water, and it keeps a temperature of 150 degrees Celsius. The solar cell is the next layer, and it is the most important layer. This layer is what keeps the function of taking solar energy and create electricity. Solar cells are made out of silicon, and this is best explained by David Bond, who went to get his education from Penn State. The silicon has a p-type layer and an n-type layer. The p-type layer contains holes for electrons to go into, creating a positive charge. The n-type layer contains electrons, creating a negative charge. Between these layers is the depletion zone, which is where the electrons move from the n-type layer to the p-type layer. And this creates an electric field. The solar cell has 3 different types of solar cells that you can use in a solar panel. One is called the monocrystalline solar cell. It is the shape of a crystal that is rounded, and it is the strongest out of the 3. The second is the polycrystalline solar cell. This one's different than the monocrystalline because it is grain-sized and it's a lot larger and less weak than the monocrystalline. The third is called the thin film. Now this one is not a crystal, instead of it is a vapor that they can spray onto glass or plastic. This one is the weakest out of the 3. The fourth layer after the solar cell is called the lower encapsulating film. Now this is the layer that is just like the upper encapsulating film. It protects the solar cell from water and keeps a temperature of 150 degrees Celsius. The fifth layer is the Tedlar laminated film. Now this is made out of plastic or glass, and it is keeping the end of the solar panel together. The sixth layer and the last layer is called the frame, which is made out of aluminum, and it keeps the structure all together to form the function of the solar panel. Solar panels are like a BLT sandwich. Without the bacon, it's not a BLT sandwich. Without the solar cell, it's no longer a solar panel. Now that we know the structure of the solar panel, let's get into the function. Solar panel's main function is to take solar energy and create electricity. Solar panel has many different layers that function together to create that function of the solar panel. And it's whether the protected of the solar cell or the solar cell itself taking in solar energy to create that electricity. Solar cells are made out of silicon, and silicon has that property of a non-metal to take that energy from the sun and create electricity. The steps of the solar cell are best explained by Luke Richardson, who works with Energy Sage, and I got most of my information off of him. This is where I would be showing my second slide of my PowerPoint, and it is the solar cell and the n-type layer and the p-type layer, as well as its electrons and holes in the depletion layer. It explains the steps of the solar cell on the side of it. The first step of the solar panel is it absorbs solar sun and it reaches the solar cell, and this is where the electrons move from its atoms. The second step is the electrons move through the depletion layer into the p-type layer, going into the holes. creating an electric current. The third step is where it creates that electric field. Now the fourth step is where the electrons move into the metal bars that are found on the solar cell, on the solar panel. And the electricity moves into a wire that is also found in the solar panel. And this is best explained by American Chemical Society. At this time, the electrons will move from the metal bars and go back to the N-type layer and can be reused again, and that's why it's a reusable energy source. At this time, I would be showing my next slide, which is another diagram showing the solar cell, and it's just a better explanation of the function of the solar cell. And now I would be showing my next slide, which is the whole diagram of the solar panel and how it works with the home and the breaker box and so forth. After the electrons move to the N-type layer, the electricity, or direct current electricity, moves into a wire that is connected to the solar panel. This wire is connected to an inverter. This inverter takes the direct current electricity and switches it into an alternating electricity, and that's best described by Energy Sage. Open State College defines alternating electricity as a flow of energy charge that reverses direction, which is needed to power appliances, end quote. The seventh step is the electricity converts into an alternating current electricity and moves into a breaker box, which is found in everybody's home. In the breaker box is found a circuit. A circuit is what takes the alternating electricity and moves that electricity into appliances, and that's how the appliances are functioned. Without a pitcher in a baseball game, the baseball game is not able to function. Without the solar cell and the solar panel is unable to function. Solar panels help our economy and the environment by being a renewable energy source. In conclusion, there are 6 layers. Each help with the function of the solar panel, whether that is to protect the solar cell or the solar cell itself in functioning to create solar energy into electricity. Now that you all know the function and the structure of the solar panel, next time someone asks you the same question I did at the beginning of the speech, I hope you're able to answer with the information I have given you rather than just the basics and the name. Thank you.